Alright, let's be honest, we all know who's going to come in at number 1 in this video, but either way, today we're going to be ranking all of the characters in the League Store from worst to best. And out of the 6 characters, there's only one character that I really don't like, and I'm pretty sure you guys know who that's going to be as well. With that being said, I just wanted to say thank you guys for the support. We got almost 400 subs in about a week and a half, which is just, that's mind-blowing, dude. I really appreciate all the support you guys show me. I really do. I say it every day because I mean it every single day. With that being said, I hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe and stay clean, and let's start the video. Starting off our list is going to be Red Hood. Now, Red Hood, in my opinion, was the most disappointing character in Injustice 2 Mobile. I think everybody can agree that Red Hood looks really badass, but when they added him to the game, it kind of left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth just because he's not as good as he looks. The only place where Red Hood is kind of decent is with the Multiverse team. A lot of people like to pair up Red Hood with Multiverse Armored Supergirl and Multiverse The Flash. And the reason why is because of Red Hood's passive. So basically, whenever Red Hood uses his super move, it will add additional time to the timer. And he will also give the entire team extra resistance. Now, this passive isn't really that great. The only reason why a lot of people like to use Red Hood with the Multiverse team is because a lot of teams already take up really great support characters like Dr. Fate and Shazam. And if we go look at his special abilities, there's really nothing interesting either. His special 2 does have a hazard, but it just does regular damage. The only good thing about Red Hood is that getting this character is really easy. You can get him from the League Store and obviously from raid drops, but aside from that, he's just going to come in at last place because he doesn't really have much to offer. Now moving on to number 5 is going to be Atrocitus. Look, I do know that Red Hood is a little bit better than Atrocitus in raids because Atrocitus doesn't really give any damage buffs, but I think we can all agree that Atrocitus is a way more fun character, and he's definitely way more useful in Arena and Champions Arena. So the reason why Atrocitus is a lot more fun is because of his passive. Basically what his passive does is whenever himself or one of his teammates tag in, it has a chance of enabling a random buff. You're either going to be stealing from the opponent 3 power bars, you're going to gain a reflective shield, or you're going to get extra lethal boost. Another reason why characters like Atrocitus are really fun is because remember, every single time that you tag in and tag out your teammates, you're going to be getting power bars on top of the buffs. And if we go look at his special abilities, they're also kind of interesting. So his special 1 does drop a hazard. I'm not really a big fan of hazards, but this one is kind of interesting because it only costs 1 power bar, but you're going to lose 5% of your health. But if we go look at his special 2, it looks like a lot more fun. So basically, it's still a hazard, but instead of standing still and you having to push the opponent towards it, the hazard itself will move towards the opponent. These 2 special abilities, if you use them properly, are really annoying. I've seen a lot of people build up Atrocitus as a tank, and even then, these 2 special abilities do a good amount of damage when you corner your opponent in Arena. And even if you don't want to use his special abilities, Atrocitus is still going to be a really great Arena character because of his reflective shield. With that being said, let's move on to number 4, which is going to be Reverse Flash. I do enjoy using Atrocitus over Reverse Flash just because Atrocitus is a little bit more fun. However, with that being said, Reverse Flash is definitely one of the best combo builders in the game, and that's why he's coming in at number 4. The best thing about Reverse Flash is that his fast attacks are 3, which means that building combos with this character is going to be really fast. In terms of his passive, Reverse Flash's passive is okay, you just got to be careful because it can backfire. So basically what it does is whenever you tag in Reverse Flash, you have a chance of swapping energy with the opponent. You obviously want to try to do this when the opponent has more power. This way when you swap, you get the majority of the power. But you want to be careful because if you have more power than the opponent and you swap, then the opponent is going to get more power. Aside from that, Reverse Flash isn't really that interesting because none of his special abilities have any sort of buffs or effects. But I guess that's really not that big of a problem since you're just going to be focusing on building combos with Reverse Flash. Anyways, with all that being said, now let's move on to number 3, which is going to be John Stewart Green Lantern. This character is a really diverse character. He's really good in Arena because he does a decent amount of damage, especially with his special 2, and he's really good in raids and solo raids, especially against opponents that have hazards. And it's really because of his passive. So what it does is it gives 100% team's hazard and hazard dot damage, and it takes away 80% of the hazard and hazard dot damage dealt to the team, and he makes the entire team immune to secondary hazard effects, and he gives his entire Green Lantern teammates 20% 50% more attack. So normally, whenever you're fighting in raids and solo raids, and the opponent has hazards, the most annoying part is the power drain. And if you have John Stewart Green Lantern in your team, you are not going to be getting power drained by the hazards. And if we go look at his special abilities, his special 1 is a hazard and it does dot damage, his special 2 has armor pierce, and his special 3 does a decent amount of damage. Now, John Stewart Green Lantern is not going to be breaking any damage records, but he still does a decent amount of damage, and his special abilities look really badass. I will say that John Stewart Green Lantern's movements are really fluid, and that's always really nice in support characters, since you're going to try to be building up combos and you're going to be using them a lot. He's also a really great support character, and I definitely think he's a character that you really want to have for certain parts of solo raids and regular raids. Anyways, with that being said, let's move on to number 2, which is going to be Power Girl. I'm going to start off by talking about her special abilities because they're really simple and most people really just care about the passive. So her special 1 has dot damage, and I believe her special 3 allows you to do an infinite combo. In addition, Power Girl does do a decent amount of damage, so these special abilities are not weak. And if we go look at her passive, Power Girl is a really amazing support character. So her passive is really simple. She reduces the amount that special abilities are going to cost for the entire team by 2 power bars. And this works for every single character in the game and every single team in the game, which definitely makes her one of the best versatile support characters in the entire game. And to be honest, aside from that, there's really nothing else to say about Power Girl, and I mean that in a really good way. She's really simplistic, but she's really badass at the same time, and that's why she's coming in at number 2. Alright, let's be honest, we all know who's going to be number 1. It's going to be King of Atlantis Aquaman. Not only is he in a pretty good movie, but he also has his own Fortnite skin, and he's a really badass character. As a matter of fact, this character is such a beast that even people that just downloaded the game know who this character is. And normally, I would take the time to edit out all the little mistakes that I make whenever I talk about a character, but not for this character. Everybody knows what he does, so I'm just gonna be pointing out the obvious when I talk about this character, alright? Let's talk about his special abilities first. His special 1 and his special 2 doesn't have any sort of buffs or effects. Even though his passive does give them effects, we'll talk about that in a second, and his special 3 takes percentages of characters' health away. This is really good for raids and solo raids because your opponents are going to have a lot of health. So even if your King of Atlantis Aquaman is really low level, just by using special 3s, you're still going to be doing a lot of damage. Now moving on to his passives, his passive 1 gives himself extra damage every single time that you use one of your special abilities. His special 1 is going to give him 50% more damage, and his special 2 and special 3 is going to give him 100% more damage, and this maxes out at 600%. And his passive 2 makes it so that whenever King of Atlantis Aquaman uses his super move, he's going to disable the opponent's super move for 1 minute, and he's also going to power drain the opponent. And finally, for his passive 3, whenever King of Atlantis Aquaman dies, he comes back to life depending on how many power bars he has. Every single power bar is 10% of his health. King of Atlantis Aquaman is definitely one of those characters that you cannot complain about when you get, and he just does so many different things really great, which is why he's a really great character. Some people think he's really good in solo raids and raids, but he's not good in Arena, and I really disagree with that. I really like using King of Atlantis Aquaman in Arena, and as a matter of fact, Arena is the #1 game mode that I play, and let me tell you, even though yes, King of Atlantis Aquaman is not going to be able to defeat every single team in Arena, think about it this way. Whenever you want to rank high in Arena, you're going to go through all of your teams, and by the time that you finish going through all of your teams, eventually you're going to find an opponent that's good enough to fight with King of Atlantis Aquaman. So for example, for me, I like to use 5 different teams in Arena, and 99% of the time when I'm playing Arena, I'm not going to use one team and then move on to the next team and then move on to the next team. That's just not how that works. Usually I like to find my opponents, and then whatever opponent I find, I then choose which team I want to use against that opponent. So even though my King of Atlantis Aquaman isn't as good as my multiverse team, and it is going to take more time to find the right opponents for my King of Atlantis Aquaman, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter to me too much, since I'm going to have to wait to find opponents for my other teams anyways. Anyways guys, with all that being said, my voice is kind of killing me right now. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I'm just going to go ahead and end it right here. I hope you guys have a nice day, stay safe and stay clean, and I'll see you guys later.